Hi everyone, welcome back to the Lovecraft Studios channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful paper clematis. Let's get started. Before we begin, let me quickly show you the 3 DIY kit options: beginner, intermediate, and professional. There's a kit for every skill level. Clematis comes in many beautiful varieties. Some have a single layer of petals, while others have gorgeous double blooms. If you're just getting started with paper flowers, this beginner kit is made for you. All the tricky parts have already been prepared, so simply shape the pieces, assemble them together, and you'll have a beautiful single-flowered clematis. If you're ready for a little more of a challenge, the intermediate kit is perfect for you. You'll shape and emboss the petals yourself, assemble the leaves, and enjoy more of the creative process from start to finish. The kit includes enough materials to make either 5 single-flowered clematis or 1 single-flowered clematis and 1 double-flowered clematis, giving you plenty of opportunities to practice and build your confidence. If you love having complete creative control, the professional kit is for you. You'll begin with plain white handcraft paper, then colour and shape every piece yourself. This gives you the freedom to experiment with different colours, styles, and varieties, so every clematis you create is uniquely yours. Before we begin making the flower, let's take a closer look at a real clematis. Understanding the natural structure of the flower will help us create a more realistic result. You may notice that the flower center looks quite complicated. To make this tutorial easier for beginners, I've simplified the design. If you'd like to learn how to make the more detailed and realistic flower center, don't worry, I'll be creating a separate tutorial dedicated to that technique in the future. Let's begin with a simple single-flowered clematis and focus on the assembly process, step by step. In the next tutorial, we'll learn how to shape and make the petals in more detail. Now, let's get started. This kit includes enough materials to make 1 single-flowered clematis. Let's take a closer look at what's included in the kit. First, you'll find the florist wires for assembling the flower. In the first packet, you'll find the pre-shaped petals, ready to use, along with the leaves needed to complete the clematis. In the next tutorial, I'll show you how to make the petals step by step and how to assemble the leaves quickly and neatly. In the other packet, you'll find 3 paper strips for wrapping the wires, bud wrapping pieces, 1 large foam ball, 1 small foam ball, and stamens in 3 different sizes, and a small paper piece. We'll use the stamens in the next step, gluing them around the flower center from the inside outward, starting with the shortest and gradually working toward the longest. And finally, you'll find the pre-shaped flower center, which is ready for assembly. First, let's learn how to make the flower bud. In the kit, there are 2 foam balls. We'll start with the larger one. Insert the wire through the center of the foam ball, then secure it firmly in place. Please be careful when handling the wire and avoid scratching your fingers. These are the bud wrapping pieces. Use the needle tool to make a small hole in the center. You can use regular PVA white glue, but it takes longer to dry. I personally prefer a quick drying craft glue because it is much easier to work with. When using quick glue, remember to close the cap immediately after each use so the glue does not dry out. I usually pour a little glue into a small container for easy use while I work. I use a small tool to apply the glue so I can spread it evenly and avoid using too much glue. Again, remember to keep the glue bottle closed whenever you are not using it. When attaching the wrapping piece, make sure the white foam ball is completely covered. Next, let's make the small flower bud. Fix it onto the wire in the same way as before. Then take the small, pale yellow paper piece from the materials pack and wrap it around the foam ball. Now, take out the pre-shaped flower center. Use the needle tool to make a small hole in the center. Then insert the bud through the hole, just as shown in the video. Next, take the stamens. Before attaching them, gently twist each section with your fingers. This small step helps the stamens look fuller, more natural, and more three-dimensional. If twisting feels difficult at first, add a tiny amount of hand cream to your fingertips. It makes twisting much easier. Practice and will make it easier. Once the stamens are ready, trim the base slightly with scissors. This reduces bulk when glued later and helps the flower center sit more neatly and naturally. Now apply a small amount of PVA glue. Position the center carefully and hold it gently until it feels secure. Gently shape the edge with the needle tool, then tidy it lightly with your fingers for a more natural look. Now let's learn how to make the curled tendril found at the tips of climbing plants. Wrap the wire around the needle tool several times, then remove and gently shape it. Now we can begin shaping the petals, which is really the heart of this tutorial. This single-flowered clematis has 6 petals. Let's start with the first petal. Hold the petal at an angle and gently stretch it along the petal veins with a slight twisting motion. Watch the movement of my fingers carefully and use both hands together to guide the paper. You can already see beautiful wavy edges forming along the petals. Continue stretching and gently twisting the petal until you're happy with the shape. You can clearly see the difference between the shaped side and the unshaped side. Repeat the same shaping on the other side of the petal. We can also work along the petal edge with both hands using a gentle tearing-like motion, but don't actually tear the petal. Watch my hand movements carefully. This helps create a more curled outline, and now we have a beautifully shaped petal. Now compare the shaped petal with an unshaped petal. You can see how much more lively and realistic the shaped one looks. For the petal tip, we can use a gentle rolling motion with our fingers. You can roll it either inward or outward. Both will create a softer, more natural curl. This is a very important technique, so take your time and practice it. Continue shaping all 6 petals in the same way. Don't rush this step. The stretching and twisting technique is one of the most useful skills in paper flower making, and you'll use it in many other flowers in future projects. Feel free to replay this section and watch the finger movements again. Once all the petals are shaped, we can attach them to the dried flower center. I like to use a quick-setting glue for this step because it helps the flower hold its shape more easily. Apply a small amount of glue to the base of the petal and attach it 1 petal at a time. Attach the petals in opposite pairs, placing each new petal opposite the previous one instead of beside it. Watch carefully as we attach the petals in opposite pairs. Place the second petal directly opposite the first, not beside it. This keeps the flower balanced and gives the clematis a more natural, symmetrical shape. Leave a small gap between each petal. Avoid placing them too close together. A little space makes the flower look much more natural and airy. While the glue is still wet, adjust the position of each petal until you're happy with the shape. Then set the flower aside to dry completely. Next, let's shape the leaves. In this materials pack, there are 7 leaves in total, 2 small leaves, 4 medium leaves, and 1 larger leaves. In a moment, we'll attach the shaped leaves to the parts we've already made, and that will complete a full clematis stem. You can add veins with a small tool, but personally, I preferred creating the texture gently with my fingers because it looks softer and more natural. Finally, shape the leaf edges in the same way we shape the petals. This little detail gives the leaves more movement and helps the finished clematis look elegant. Let's assemble all the parts using the dark green paper tape from the materials pack. You can easily open and stretch the tape with a needle tool. I usually place the PVA glue in a fine tip bottle so it is easier to control while assembling the flower. The following arrangement is just one example to guide you. Feel free to use it as a reference, but don't be afraid to make it your own. You can adjust the position of the leaves, flowers, and tendrils to create a shape that feels natural to you. Every clematis stem can have its own character, and a little creativity will make your finished piece even more beautiful and unique. In nature, clematis comes in many different varieties, and flowers appear in countless shapes, sizes, and colors. Some are soft and delicate, while others are bold and dramatic. Once you've learned these basic techniques, you can begin exploring many different styles of paper flowers, not only clematis, but also roses, peonies, cherry blossoms, hydrangeas, and many others. The techniques you practiced in this tutorial, such as stretching, twisting, curling, and shaping the petals and leaves, are foundation skills that you will use again and again in future projects. The more you practice, the more naturally your hands will move, and the more realistic your flowers will become. Most importantly, enjoy the creative process. Every flower you make will be slightly different, and that is what makes handmade flowers so special. With patience, practice, and imagination, you'll be able to create beautiful paper flowers that are not only lovely to look at, but also full of your own personal style and artistic expression. Thank you so much for crafting with me today, and I hope this tutorial inspires you to keep creating and exploring the wonderful world of paper flowers.